Hi, and welcome to another episode of Starship Gaming. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want notifications of when we make more awesome videos. Now let's jump right into today's review. Now this one is a personal favorite of mine, and let me start with a story before I jump into the review. Frogger, which was released in 1997, is a remake of the original 1981 arcade game. And this was a game that I frequently rented from Blockbuster Video back in the day and played for PlayStation 1. However, I never did own the PlayStation 1 version of which I'm reviewing today. I actually owned the PC version of the game. And it wasn't until at least 10 years later, in 2009, that I ended up getting my own personal copy of it for Sony PlayStation 1. I ended up getting it at a yard sale, I think for about $2 roughly. Pretty good shape. Of course, it was the greatest hits version, but you know. So basically, Frogger, also known as Frogger, he's back. It's more or less a remake slash reboot of the original arcade version. Except the major twist is that it's in 3D. So that greatly improves it, and honestly, it looks fabulous. And it's still, in all honesty, it holds up pretty well today, even if you play it. But the twist is, you not only play the classic style level at the beginning, except in 3D, but you also get to play other levels that were newly created in 3 dimensions for this game. And a lot of the levels in the game are actually pretty challenging. They take a lot of planning and timing. Of course, you're on a timer. You only have a limited amount of time to reach, each frog. So you really have to plan your moves out really well. And you're not going to always get it on the first try. You're probably going to have to restart the level over and over and over again until you've perfected it. So this game's going to take you a while to master. Nevertheless, this is one of my favorite video games for the PlayStation 1, as well as one of my favorite video games from the 90s. This was at a time when Hasbro Interactive bought up a bunch of rights to different stuff, like Pong, for example, and Centipede, and they were just like remaking them, and just like from a period of like 1997, roughly 1997 till about 2000, they just kept pumping these remakes, these 3D remakes out, just pumping and pumping them out. And eventually this one actually did get a sequel, Frogger 2 Swampy's Revenge, which honestly, I'll do a review on it, so I'm not going to spoil it, but I like it just as equally. But yeah, they just kept pumping these games out year after year. And another one that's kind of strange, Boggle, which was a PC exclusive game. But they had a couple of them that came out on PS1, like, for example, Scrabble, Pong, all those saw PS1 releases. So in retrospect, Frogger, for the PS1, I would probably put it in my top 10 list of best PS1 games. It's just that amazing. And if you do end up collecting for PS1, make sure this is one of the first 20 that you grab up when you do start collecting for PS1. Because honestly, it's fun to play. It's also a great game to introduce kids to if they're just starting out playing video games. I would recommend letting them just play the first level, the first couple levels of the very first, classic style. They call it retro in style, or I guess this is called retro levels in the game. And let them master that for a while before they move on to the more difficult stuff. Of course, like I've told people in the past, if you want to introduce your kids to video games, I recommend getting them a PlayStation 1 as their very first console, because it will introduce them to the world of disc-based games, which is, still going on 20-something years later. But we'll have another video on that and another discussion. But on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. I gotta give Frogger a 5 out of 5. This game is just awesome. It's a classic, one of the best games made for its era. Really well executed. It's great. And it's one that I highly recommend playing. The level designs are great. The gameplay is great. Simple, but great. And it's just all around a fun and challenging game. So, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want notifications of when we release more awesome videos. And until next time, I will see ya.